driving home from work. Some 10 hours later this morning, and it looks a bit sleety. Hooray. It shouldn't be sleety. So heading back from Halifax into Bradford, taking a different route. To the one I take on a morning. This is mainly because from where I am, the shortest route is the route I'm taking back. Takes you along the A58 down to Stump Cross and then head up to c0ff. Going from Halifax to Bradford, this works fine generally. Tends to be a bit of traffic on the A58 out of Halifax, but then up to c0ff is normally alright. But on a morning, if you try and going from c0ff to join the A58, because it's one of the main roads into Halifax, it's very, very busy. And then what you find is the lights at Stump Cross, where you join the A58, if you're coming down from c0ff, all the traffic on the A58 queues down all the way from Halifax, just about down to the junction, and everyone on the A58 queues across the hexagon bit where you're not supposed to queue across. So consequently, if you're trying to join from the A58, from c0ff onto the A58, hardly anyone gets across. Maybe get one car or something at a time, or maybe a couple, so it ends up with a massive queue all the way back up. So that little bit of distance saving you lose on sitting about for ages. Waiting in a queue. So on a morning I head through Queensbury and then down through Boogtown. On a night I go Stump Cross and up to c0ff. Heading down to Stump Cross at Halifax. If you can see anything, it's pouring with rain. Might just see some little glimpses. Same thing on a morning with this traffic that queues into Halifax, and obviously you'll see now that A58 goes to the right I stick to the left and head straight up towards Shell. This queuing traffic going into Halifax queues back all the way through the lights, and then if you're unfortunate enough to be coming down from Shelf, then you hardly ever get a chance to get through the lights because of everyone blocking it up. It's not moving now, so the van's tried to join everyone who's already blocked. In fact, 2 cars have, but everyone's queued across them. This queue is not actually too bad. Often the traffic going to stump across there can queue back quite a long way up here. And if you get to crash on the M62 or some sort of blockage on the M62 that people try to divert round, this is one of the main routes they'll follow from the motorway, and then they head through Halifax and out through the back roads to rejoin it further down at Scamenden. There you can see a queue, and it will still be queuing here, going back, all the way up round this bend and round the next one. Massive length of cars queuing. So not too bad today, but on the morning it always queues back a long way. There's a lot more traffic in the morning. It also adds a bit of variation, to be fair, midday. You go one route to work and a different route back from work. Makes it a bit more interesting. Yeah, it's wet. It's rough. Cold. Sleety. Speed camera. Occasionally at this point up here, next to the little sat-nav alert as well. It's definitely a bit sleety now. Might see a bit of snow by the time I get home. I'm quite high up. Halifax is relatively low down, so that never gets too much. Will I actually get any of this uploaded tonight or not? It will all depend on how I fare getting the youngest to sleep. He misses me during the day at work, so tries to get his money was worth out of me when I get back home. And by the time I've got him off to sleep, I'm normally asleep myself. On the whole, this camera seems to be following pretty well. Should be good for when I go snowboarding. So I've got a helmet for this year. So I'll mount it on the top, as that seems to be the favourite mounting point. Let's see if we get some decent footage. Never really went for a helmet, because I don't know really. I just thought I wasn't going to crash into anything, but then again, because you never think you're going to crash into anything until you do. I wouldn't have said I was the greatest snowboarder. I'd go at a fair rate. Oh, I'm going in the right direction. Whoa, bus. So there's always that potential to crash. I did dislocate my thumb probably about 10 years ago now. Didn't particularly crash, I was just going at some speed down a piste, and the family were traversing across it. I thought they're going to turn before the edge, and as it was, I was heading towards the edge to avoid them, and they never turned, so they kept going. And the edge was a massive drop of trees, so if I'd actually gone over the edge, that wouldn't have been the most pleasant of experiences. I didn't want to try and go between them. There was about 4 of them traversing, because the chances are I would have hit one instead. That wouldn't have been great at the speed I was going. So the ultimate solution was to do a snowboarding equivalent of slamming on and stick the board sideways and dig the edge in. When I was going that fast, it just bounced, so it was a bit like juddering along the piste. The board bouncing up in the air and dropping down again, but every bounce I was going further and further backwards towards the slope. I was losing traction. I ended up on my backside sliding down the piste, trying to dig the edge in. Must have put my hands down at the same time it caught me, and caught one hand in the snow, and it must have just been icy or something, and popped my thumb out of the socket. Didn't actually notice until I got home, so that was 11 o'clock in the morning. I was out till 5 PM, got back, realised that I'd got a lump above my thumb and below it that I shouldn't have, and it didn't look good. I mean, it hurt during the day. Sometimes when I knocked it, I just thought I'd, bruised it or something maybe, but no, I popped it out with the socket. And so I had to go to the clinic, where they very kindly just sort of grabbed hold of my hand, grabbed hold of the thumb and pulled until it popped back in, and then stuck a great big cast on. And that was it. I had to have that on for about 3 weeks and get it chopped off. The cast, not my hand, obviously. Back home, safely, hooray!